What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Kicking it back to some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel content. Today I have yet another deck profile that we're going to be going over, and I promise you, we will be getting the Boujins next. But today I got a Fluffle deck list for you guys, and oh my god. I'm still learning this deck, but it is a ton of fun and very, very strong. And I kind of needed a deck like this for the ranked grind with the new Despias out on the loose. New upgrades to some of the meta decks and things like that. Some of the decks that I just currently had were not cutting it anymore. Like, yes, I could still compete, but it was making the ranked grind very hard, and I kind of just needed a little bit of a better deck. Obviously, I didn't want to resort to making these top tier decks for my ranked grind, so I obviously found my goofy, good, strong deck, and here we are with Fluffles. Boujin, I promise, will come at some point. I know I said that was going to be the next deck that I was going to make, but I was really in the market for a strong deck that I can use for this ranked grind, and this is what we got. So, without further ado, top left, bottom right, we got a lot of individual cards, so this might take a little bit of time, so if you could stick with that, stick through this video with me the whole time, I'd greatly appreciate it. So let's get started. Starting up, Fluffle Wings. So if this card is in your graveyard and you control Toy Vendor, you can banish this card from your graveyard and then target one Fluffle monster in your graveyard and banish it. If you do, draw one card. Then you can send one Toy Vendor you control to the graveyard, and if you do, draw one card. You can only use this effect of Fluffle Wings once per turn. This is a free draw two, because it's like, why would you not send Toy Vendor to the graveyard? You know, Toy Vendor you can activate it, kick off its effect on the field, and then you can use its effect in the graveyard. This is like one of the best staple cards in the deck. A free draw two, and you're kicking off Toy Vendor effects by sending away Toy Vendor. Amazing card, absolutely incredible. The fact that Fluffles is so budget friendly is beyond me as well. There are not a lot of URs that you really need to craft to get a Fluffle deck going, which is really surprising. Next up, we got Fluffle Octopus. When this card is normal summon or normal or special summon, you can target one Fluffle or one Edge Imp monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a fusion material for a fusion summon for a Fright Fur monster, you can target up to 2 of your banished monsters and return them to the graveyard. You can only use each effect of Fluffle Octopus once per turn. This is just a nice card to not only fuel some of the things that you would want to get like your fusions and stuff off, but we do have a few things in the deck that do banish, like Fluffle Wings. As a matter of fact, you banish this and another Fluffle monster, Octopus gets them right back, adds them right back to your graveyard, so you can get your Fluffle Wings back, so you can draw another 2 cards. Very strong card, very nice. Played it in a 1 because we do a lot of searching with this deck. Next up is Fluffle Owl. When this card is normal or special summon from your hand, you can add 1 polymerization from your deck to your hand. You can pay 500 life points to fusion summon 1 Fright from fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials, and you can only use 1 Fluffle Owl effect per turn and only once that turn. So you gotta kind of choose what you need at any time. But Fluffle Owl is usually just used for getting polymerization out. Truthfully, truth be told, because it's like, if you can just search for polymerization, why pay for that second one? You know. But good search target, great card to use. Next up, we play 1 Fluffle Sheep. If you control a Fluffle monster except Fluffle Sheep, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can return 1 other Fluffle monster you control to the hand, special summon 1 Edge Imp monster from your hand or graveyard. You can only use this effect of Fluffle Sheep once per turn. Just a nice, get what you need out, activate different effects, swap in and out. Nice card, we take it in 1. Next up, we play the 1 Edge Imp Sabers. If this card is in your graveyard, you can place 1 card from your hand to the top of the deck, special summon this card in defense position. You can only use this effect of Edge Imp Saber once per turn. This is basically, so most of your Fright Fur fusion monsters require Edge Imp Sabers. This is basically 2 fusions. And that is because you can just use it for your fusion, get it back to the field, and you placing the card on the top of your deck is also beneficial because you can possibly just draw that card back. There's so many things that help you draw into this deck and allow you to kick off. This allows you to kick off maybe some Toy Vendor plays. You could draw into your stuff back with Wings. You see Edge Imp Sabers enough. There's plenty of ways to search out Edge Imp Sabers, and this guarantees you basically 2 fusions a turn. It's a very strong card. Play it at 1. for all the utility that we have in the rest of the deck. Next up, we play 2 Fluffle Bear. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard to set 1 toy vendor directly from your spell deck or spell from your deck to your spell and trap zone. Sorry. You contribute this card and then target 1 polymerization in your graveyard and add it to your hand. You can only use 1 effect per turn and only once that turn. Nice card. Play it at 2. Very straightforward. Next, we play Edge Imp Scythe at 3. During your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you can reveal this card from your hand and fusion summon 1 Fright for a Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material, including this card in your hand. If a Fright for a Fusion monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you could banish this card instead. Nice effect, straightforward. You fusion summon on their turn, possibly get out something that you need. Maybe you need Fright for Sabertooth, Fright for Kraken. You know, whatever you need at the given time, you could get it out, or you could just get a wall out into the field, however you need to go about it. And not only that, it protects your fusion monster. So, nice card. We played at a 3. Next card that you absolutely should be playing at 3. Everything else that I've said here so far, you could fool around with the ratios however you want. But these next 3 cards need to be played at 3. When this card is normal summon or special summon from the hand, you can add 1 Edge Imp Sabers or 1 Fluffle monster from your deck to your hand except for Fluffle Dog. And you can only use its effect once per turn. Again, this is one of the things I was talking about, and this is why we only play Edge Imp Sabers at a 1. We have plenty of ways of searching it out, and Fluffle Dog is just one of those key examples. And not only that, Fluffle Dog can search for any Fluffle that you need at a given moment to either help extend your combos or help play out a route that you wish to take. Absolutely play this card at 3. Next up, we play Edge Imp Chain. When this card declares an attack, you can add 1 Edge Imp Chain from your deck to your hand. If this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Fright for card from your deck to your hand. You can only use 1 effect and only once that turn. So this is basically just to get out like your Fright for Fusions, your Fright for Patchwork. Really nice card to have, or even Fright for Repair. Really nice card to have and really nice card to play. Plenty of ways of searching this out. It's another combo extender, another key extender in the deck. Definitely play this card at a 3. Next up, we play Fluffle Penguin. During your main phase, you can special summon 1 Fluffle monster from your hand, except for Fluffle Penguin. This effect can only be used once while this card is face up on the field. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a fusion material for a fusion monster, you could draw 2 cards and discard one card. Amazing card. Absolutely amazing card. It allows you to special summon your other Fright for other Fluffles, so you can start kicking off other effects. Drawing 2, dropping 1, giving you an advantage state. Amazing card. Need to play this at a 3. And to finish off the Fluffles, we got Fluffle Dolphin. You can target 1 toy vendor in your graveyard and set it, and if you do, send 1 Fluffle monster or 1 Edge Imp Sabers from your deck to the graveyard. You're going to choose Sabers. If this card is sent from to the graveyard as fusion material for a fusion monster, you could shuffle into the deck 1 of your fusion spells or polymerization spells that is banished or in your graveyard. You can only use each effect once per turn. Amazing card. That you're getting out your Edge Imp Sabers. This is what Fluffle Dolphin is here for, and we have plenty of search engines to specifically search for Dolphin. Whew! Alright, so off on the monsters, now we are on to the spells and trap. We play 1 Raigeki, we play 2 Polymerization, no need for explanation here. Next up, we play 1 Fright for Fusion. You can fusion summon 1 Fright for Fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your hand, field, or graveyard. You can only activate 1 Fright for Fusion per turn. Nice card. Not only is it a backup from Polymerization, but it allows you to use your graveyard instead, which helps certain scenarios, certain situation, and it's a searchable card by Edge Imp Chain, depending on what you need. Next up, we play 3 Foolish Burial Goods. Send 1 spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard. You can only activate 1 Foolish Burial Goods per turn. This send toy vendor. Honestly, that's really all you're going to be sending. That's what I usually send with Foolish Burial Goods. So it's a great start to your plays, a great extender if you need it. Amazing card. We played at 3. Next up, we play Fright for Patchwork. Add 1 Edge Imp monster and 1 Polymerization from your deck to your hand. You can only activate once per turn. What is there to be said about this card? I guess you're your fusion. Literally, you're searching for an Edge Imp, you're searching for a polymerization, bam, you could play your game, fusion summon a monster. Next up, we play one Fright for Repair. Target one Fright for fusion monster in your graveyard, return it to the extra deck, then you can special summon one Fluffle or Edge Imp monster from your graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one Fluffle or Edge Imp monster from your hand. You can only use one Fright for Repair effect per turn and only once that turn. Nice card. Honestly, you could probably make an argument to play this at 2, but I do actually really just like this at the Tekken of 1. I feel like a lot of the cards in this deck are just a little bit more important, but this is a nice extender if you definitely need it, and if you already have something in your graveyard that you can use, you know, like your fusion in the graveyard that you can use to send them back to the extra deck so you can use it for later, and allows you to special summon more monsters to play more stuff. So you can make an argument to play this at 2. Maybe if you want to see this a little bit more, but I like the 1. I like the consistency so far of the deck that I have here. Next up is Toy Vendor, the key card in this entire deck. You need to play this at 3, no less. Once per turn, you can discard one card, draw one card, and show it. Then, if it is a Fluffle monster, you can special summon one monster from your hand. Otherwise, discard the card you drew. A little bit of RNG, but it's a Toy Vendor. We gotta have that in there. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one Edge Imp Sabers or one Fluffle monster from your deck to your hand. That is why we play this card. It just allows you to search for what you need at any given time, and we have plenty of cards to help get this thing into the graveyard. We have plenty of cards to help activate its first effect. Toy Vendor is an absolute mess. Next, a little bit of a cheeky tech on my part. Royal Penguin's Garden. Now, I did premiere this in my my previous deck list, but we'll go over it again just in case you haven't seen that. I highly recommend you do. It's a fun deck. Royal Penguin's Garden. When this card is activated, you can add one Penguin card from your deck to your hand, except Royal Penguin's Garden. Once per turn during your main phase, you can decrease the level of one Penguin monster in your hand. You're not going to use that second part. Royal Penguin's Garden is just to search out Fluffle Penguin. They work together. And not only that, it's a nice destruction target for some of our fusion monsters that we'll get to. So I like this cheeky little Tekken. It adds my own little flair to it, especially since I just built the Penguin deck. So it's a lot of fun. This is my own cheeky little Tekken of 2. And then 2 Caught by the Grave, and then 2 Infinite Impermanence. Staple cards. Not going to bother going over them. Whew. We're getting there. We're getting there. Now on to the extra deck. Again, a lot of singular cards, so strap in. Fright for Wolf. To fusion summon this, you need Edge Imp Sabers and one or more Fluffle monsters. It must be fusion summoned and cannot be special summoned by any other ways. This card can attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of fusion materials used for its summon. So it says one or more. You can choose how many that you would want. If you want to somehow make Fright for Wolf attack 5 times by sending away 5 cards, go ahead. Sure. It's your deck. You play it how you want. But you can send 3, 4, 2, however many you send. Fright for Wolf can attack up to that many times. This is an OTK card right here. This card is so funny. Next up, we play one Fright for Tiger, Edge Imp Sabers, and one or more Fluffle monster. When this card is fusion summoned, you can target cards on the field up to the number of fusion materials used for its fusion summon and destroy them. All Fright for monsters you control gain 300 attack for each Fluffle monster, and Fright for monster you control. You can only control one Fright for a Tiger. So this is amazing because if you use 3 materials, you're popping 3 things off the field. And it also beefs up your monsters a little bit. This is an amazing card to have. I can see why this one is at the very least a UR. So very good. We played it at a 1. Fright for Sabretooth. We play this at 1. 1 Fright for Fusion monster and 1 Fluffle and or Edge Imp monster. So you need like a fusion on the field already to use this. When this card is fusion summoned, you can target 1 Fright for a monster in your graveyard, special summon it. All Fright for monsters you control gain 400 attack. If this card was fusion summoned using 3 or more materials, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. So the way this card works is you use a fusion and you use however many else that you want to use for it, get it out in the field. Then you can use it to target a Fright for monster in your graveyard and special summon it back onto the field. Obviously, you cannot target Wolf because it has the restriction, but you can get back out Fright for Tiger. You can get out your Cruel Whale. You can get out your Krakens. So if you whatever you used for this thing's fusion summon, you can just get it right back out into the field. And if you use 3 or more, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, making this a very annoying card because it also helps boost your field even further. So nice card. We play it in at a 1. Next up, we play 1 Fright for a Kraken, 1 Edge Imp monster, and 1 Fluffle monster. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls and send it to the graveyard. This card cannot attack directly the turn this effect is activated. This card can make a second attack during each battle phase. Once per turn, at the end of the battle phase, if this card battled, change it to defense position, and it's got 3,000 defense. This card is amazing. It's great for killing monsters and just popping stuff off the field. And yes, even though it can't attack directly, it can still attack a second time to attack another monster. And you just keep on swinging those big old sights, cutting shit down off the field. Amazing card. Played in at a 1. Next up, Fright for Cruel Whale. 1 Imp monster and 1 Fluffle monster. If this card is fusion summoned, you can destroy 1 card on both players' fields. Royal Penguin's Garden. Once per turn, quick effect, you can target 1 fusion monster you control, send 1 Fright for card from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, except for Fright for a Cruel Whale, and if you do, the targeted monster gains attack equal to half of its original attack until the end of the turn. So, for an example, you send anything away from the extra deck or from your deck, and you target Wolf. Wolf will gain 1,000 attack, because that's half of 2,000. You add that together, it has 3,000 attack. Bam! Nice and simple, you know. Not only that, it has destruction built into the card. It's got good stats. It sets up OTKs with Wolf because you bump it up to 3,000, and that's 3,000 attacks. You see where that's going. We play Cruel Whale at a 3 because it's definitely the most needed combo extender that we have, and it's probably the most beneficial to just keep popping out into the field. And especially it doesn't have the restrictions of needing like sabers, like some of these, like these two do, for example. So it's a really easy card to just keep popping out in the field, and you can keep using its effect. Very nice card. We play it at 3. Now, I play 1 Guardian Camara, and I think this card is actually pretty great for this deck. Must first be fusion summon using only fusion materials from your hand and field with at least 1 monster from each, and it has to be 3 monsters with different names. If this card is fusion summoned by a spell card or effect, you can draw cards equal to the number of cards used as material from the hand, and if you do, destroy your opponent's cards. Destroy your cards your opponent controls equal to the number of cards used as material from the field. So, if you used 1 monster on the field and 2 cards from hand, you are drawing 2 cards and popping 1 card. If you use 2 from the field and 1 from the hand, you are drawing 1 card and you are popping 2. You can only use this effect of Guardian Camara once per turn. While Polymerization is in your graveyard, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. This thing is insane, and especially in a very fusion-heavy based deck, and with a lot of cards that really benefit from going from the field or hand to the graveyard, I don't see a reason not to play this card. This thing is incredible. It's got great stats, it's got a great effect, and it does a lot of really great things. Moving on, we play 1 Dangerous Fright for Nightmare, 1 Edge Imp monster, and 2 Fluffle monsters. Gains 300 attack for each fairy and fiend monster in your graveyard during your turn only. When this fusion summon card destroys a monster by battle, you can send 1 Fright for Fluffle and or Edge Imp monster from your deck to the graveyard equal to the original level of that destroyed monster. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets this card on the field, you can banish 1 Fright for monster from your extra deck to negate that effect. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really use this. I think it was a great tech, and I can see myself using this in certain situations. What I mean is I just haven't used it yet. It's definitely a very niche card, especially amongst like the Fright for lineup, but I definitely do very much like this card, and I can see some situations where it's very useful, so I teched it in at a 1. A nice card to have. And now, the rest of your extra deck can kind of just be however you want. I do play Toad, and I won't really go over these last few cards, mostly just because these cards are kind of staples in a lot of extra decks. You can kind of line this up however you want. I chose Toad, Totally Awesome, Bahamut Shark, Nightmare Phoenix, Cross Sheep, Verte Anaconda, and an Axis Code Talker. You can do Appaloosa. You can do Access Code Talker. You could do Nightmare Unicorn. You can do pretty much just however you want to build out the rest of your extra deck. That is obviously all entirely up to you. I just recommend fooling around with your ratios for your Fright Fur stuff. You can play it exactly like this, or just play around with it a little bit more. But I definitely wouldn't leave room for like some of these staple cards, additional things to really just help the deck out. And there we go. That is the deck list, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of talking with this one, but this deck is insane. It's so powerful. I'm still learning how to pilot it. I know that it really kind of just pilots itself, but I'm just trying to figure out like what to do in certain scenarios. I'm still learning the deck, but so far I've had a lot of success with these ratios and the way this deck plays. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys might take this and become a Fluffle player yourselves. I would definitely love to increase the Fluffle army because this deck is just so much fun. So let me know what you guys think of the deck down below. If there are any other ways that you're playing Fluffles, I would really be interested in hearing it. I would love to hear those different kinds of things. I'm kind of in the market for that at the moment. But this is what we're rocking with, and I really hope you enjoyed the video. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, you know what to do, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.